The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they keep getting worse. Just when I think this team can't go no lower, they get that shovel and they just start digging deeper holes for themselves. They were looking like Santa's secret helpers in this game. Growing up, when I was in elementary school, we used to have Secret Santa. This is when the teacher used to randomly assign you a classmate to get a gift for, and you had to do it secretly. So you would bring the gift in, give it to the teacher, and then on a certain day, the teacher would just pass out all the gifts, and you would do it in secrecy. So if you wanted to reveal to the classmate that you got them that gift, you could, but really it was just supposed to be anonymous. I guess during halftime of this ball game, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers came together and they huddled around and they said, all right, we're going to give turnovers in the third quarter to these Bengal players. We're going to give them interceptions, and to these Bengals players, we're just going to give them fumbles. That's honestly what the second half of this game looked like. This is the worst third quarter of football that I have ever seen in all my years watching football. Pop Warner, middle school, junior pee-wee, I have never seen this bad of a third quarter from a team ever in football. First, they start out attempting a fake punt. 4th and 1 on their opening possession after halftime, by the way, on their own 26. And they're up 17-3. And then Giovanni Bernard. It's nice to see Gio still making plays for the Cincinnati Bengals. Even though he wasn't in their uniform, he might as well have been, because it looks like he was the only one who didn't know that fake punt was coming. And then this is what blows me the most, right? After the game, a reporter asked Todd Bowles in his post-game presser, did you think in hindsight it was a good decision to go for that fake punt on 4th and 1, considering the magnitude of the situation? And guess what Todd Bowles said? He said yes. And I'm just like, bro, what? 4th and 1, you're up 17-3. Your defense is playing great football. Despite what the box score says and what the final score indicates, the Buccaneers defense was outstanding against Cincinnati's offense. If it wasn't for their 5 turnovers, I think Tampa Bay not only would have won this game, but they would have won it by a pretty convincing margin. Their defense played well, and yet they put their defense in bad situations time in and time out over and over again, because just when you think things couldn't get any worse after that fake punt, right? They have 4 straight turnovers right after, back to back to back to back to back. I'm not making this up. Like, I had to go back and watch this game because I didn't watch this game. I just saw that Cincinnati came back and I just thought that this was one of your normal comebacks. But no, it wasn't. You have to give a lot of credit to Cincinnati's defense for the adjustments that they made in this game. And I don't want to take anything away from them. But Tampa Bay having 5 turnovers in 1 quarter, that is one of the ultimate choke jobs that I have ever witnessed. Todd Bowles and this coaching staff, it's awful. And the only thing that's consistent with Todd Bowles outside of his consistently bad coaching are his facial expressions. You cut to the sidelines, or every time they cut to the sideline of Todd Bowles, he has that same look on his face, that same poker face, that same... Y'all know the look I'm talking about. He has it every single time. And after the game, they asked him, hey, Todd Bowles, what was going through your mind after your team turned the football over 5 straight times? And he said, just had defense got to go back out there and make a play. Just like when the defense goes out there and gives up a touchdown, the offense has to go back out there and score. And I understand that. But if I was Todd Bowles and I was in his shoes, the first thing that would be going through my head when my team turns the football over 5 times is, hey, nobody's coming over and sitting on the bench. Everybody's standing up. RIP Mike Leach. Mike Leach there was a game where Mississippi State's wide receivers were just dropping passes. And when they came over to the sideline, Mike Leach took all the chairs, folded them up, and he was like, nope, y'all don't deserve to sit down. Todd Bowles should have done that with this offense. This offense didn't deserve no Powerade, no water, and they damn sure ain't deserve a spot on the bench. They should have been standing up thinking about what they were doing at that moment. Byron Leftwich, Tom Brady, the whole entire offense should have been looking at themselves on the sideline and just, I don't know. But to have 5 turnovers in one quarter is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, their uniforms are red and black or red and somewhat gray, but they might as well have just been wearing all red with the pointy Santa hats because they were looking like Santa's helpers out there with all the turnovers they were gifting Cincinnati. I understand it's the holiday season and this is the time of the year where we spread joy and we give out gifts and presents, but I don't think the Cincinnati Bengals needed 5 turnovers in the third quarter. I think that Tampa Bay, you needed this win way more than Cincinnati needed it. I'm pretty sure Cincinnati appreciates the generosity, though. I'm pretty sure Bengals fans are really happy with the 5 turnovers that you gifted them and the 34 unanswered points that you allowed them to score due to it. Cincinnati didn't just score 17 unanswered at one point. They scored 34 unanswered thanks to Tampa Bay gifting them 5 turnovers. And I'm going to say it again. I'm not saying this to take away anything from Cincinnati's defense. Cincinnati's defensive coordinator needs to be a head coach next year. This dude is probably the most underrated defensive coordinator in the league. He makes fantastic adjustments. The Cincinnati Bengals are a fantastic team when it comes to making second half adjustments. You have to give them credit for that. But to have 5 turnovers in one single quarter is absurd. Absolutely absurd. And I went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Instagram page and I went to the comment section just to see what fans were saying. And fans really didn't have too much to say. And it's just so disappointing to look at how Tom Brady is going out. I wanted Tom Brady to retire a couple of weeks ago, but now I don't want to see Tom Brady retire because I don't want to see Tom Brady going out like this. I don't want to see Tom Brady going out with Tampa Bay barely winning the NFC South. I don't want to see Tampa Bay and Tom Brady going out getting blown out in the wild card round. I'm somebody who has a lot of respect and admirations for the guys who have put in the time and commitment and who have elevated themselves to the point that they're future Hall of Famers. So to see Tom Brady playing with a coaching staff that's this bad, it really makes me sad. And yes, Tom Brady does deserve a good amount of criticism. But going back and watching these games, Tom Brady isn't as bad as what the media has made him out to be. Is he playing great football? No, but he's not playing bad football. If the offensive line was better, Tom Brady could have had a better performance. Now, Tom Brady had a little bit more speed on him because there was a third down situation earlier in this game when it was like 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 2, and he had a lot of green grass in him. If he just had a little bit of speed, not only could he have picked up that first down, but he also possibly could have scored the touchdown. But instead, he ends up getting sacked, and Tampa Bay ends up kicking the field goal, which is another thing that many Buccaneers fans had a problem with. How conservative Todd Bowles was in this game. It's 4th and 2 on the 3-yard line of Cincinnati, and he decides to kick a field goal. You have Tom freaking Brady. Tom, terrific. One of the best quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, who is phenomenal in the red zone, despite the fact that he isn't mobile. Yet, you just decide to kick the field goal. Yes, I understand the run game has been abysmal for Tampa Bay all year. Understand that. But it's 4th and 2. You're at the 2-3 yard line of Cincinnati. You mean to tell me you don't have confidence in Tom Brady and this offense being able to score a touchdown from that distance? It's just really disappointing when you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This team continues to get worse and worse and worse. Their last 3 games, they got to go on the road and play Arizona with no Kyler Murray. You think they should be able to win that game, and I still expect them to win that game. Then they have to play the Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. The playoffs for Tampa Bay pretty much starts this week. For them to get to the playoffs, they have to win out. Because if you lose to Carolina or the Falcons, then you might not control your own destiny. It's really unfortunate to see Tom Brady, if this is his final year and this is how he goes out, this would be really sad. This probably would be a little bit more sad than how we saw Peyton Manning go out in 2015. But the difference is he went out on top, even though he wasn't playing his best football. And that's pretty much the worst version of Peyton Manning that we saw throughout his career, that 2015 version of him. He still was able to get Denver to the Super Bowl. They were led by a great defense, and they had a fantastic head coach. When you have an aging veteran like Tom Brady, you don't say, hey, Brady, carry us. You should be carrying Tom Brady, not the other way around. The Buccaneers did a poor job of constructing a team that was able to be competent with Tom Brady, even with the injuries. Because it's not like the offensive line wasn't a question going into this season. You had one starter from last year retire, and then you lost one, Alex Kappa, to the Cincinnati Bengals in free agency. So you knew that your offensive line was going to have some issues. And yes, you have had injuries on the offensive line, but at the same time, you should still find a way to game plan around that. You have Tom Brady. You understand that this guy doesn't have no wheels. He has no mobility. So therefore, the most important thing is making sure that he stays upright. Todd Bowles was asked after the game, what do you have to do to keep Tom Brady upright? He was like, well, it's simple. We got to block better. Well, do it. The dude was getting sacked to hell in the second half of this game. Just absolutely getting crushed, brutalized, beat down. Tom Brady is 45 years old, Todd Bowles. Do something. Don't allow Tom Brady to get hurt. Don't allow his career to end up how Brett Favre's career ended up in that NFC Championship game against New Orleans in 2009. I'm not trying to see Tom Brady go out like that. I'm pretty sure none of us want to see Tom Brady going out like that. And what's even more frustrating is that, they asked Todd Bowles, well, was Cincinnati doing anything differently up front that you guys didn't see? Were they stunting more? And Todd Bowles says, nah, they didn't do anything that we didn't see on film. So it's like, okay, if they weren't doing anything that you haven't seen on film, why aren't you able to stop it? You should have just said, they didn't do anything that we weren't prepared for. We just couldn't stop it. I think that's an indication of bad coaching. If you see something on film that they've been doing all week and they're doing it in the game and you can't stop it, that means that 1, you weren't prepared to stop it. 2, you didn't have the right game plan to stop it. And 3, you can't stop it. So therefore, you should have just said and answered the question truthfully and said, they weren't doing anything that we didn't see on film. They just were the better coaching staff, and they outcoached us in the second half. Todd Bowles is an awesome human being. I have a friend who is really cool with Todd Bowles and his family. He's an awesome person, a great human being, a fantastic leader, but he's not a good coach, at least a good head coach. The defense is going to be fine. The defense is going to be what carries Tampa Bay throughout the rest of the season. Their defense is now starting to get healthy. They were talking about it throughout the telecast, about how they were starting to get a couple of guys in their secondary coming back. So this defense is going to be pretty good by the time we get playoff time, if Tampa Bay even gets to the playoffs. But I think that this defense is good enough to help them win this division. Now, will they be able to pull a rabbit out of the hat in the playoffs? I doubt it. But this team just continues to get worse and worse. And they just keep getting that shovel, digging up holes, and burying themselves even deeper. And you wonder what kind of hole are they going to dig themselves into this week. Todd Bowles talked about Bucks versus Bucks. We got to stop with the Bucks versus Bucks. Well, stop with the Bucks versus Bucks, Todd Bowles. We talk about it every single week. So help us stop talking about it. Fix it. Same problems every single week for Tampa Bay. keep reoccurring, and yet are adjustments being made? It doesn't look like it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, this team just continues to exceed my expectations for how bad they can be with Tom Brady. And I'm pretty sure most of us had our reservations about the Buccaneers and Todd Bowles going into this season, but I'm pretty sure most of us gave them the benefit of the doubt because they had Tom Brady at quarterback. If they were going to have a bad season, we thought that it would happen next year post Brady if he retired. Not in what potentially could be his final season.